E3 may be dead, but that doesn't mean that there aren't new RTSs on the horizon. So, here are the recent announcements that I reckon you should know about, and oh boy, there are some in here that I am seriously hopeful for. Starting off with a surprise announcement from the Summer Games Fest, I think we all collectively groaned at a new Game of Thrones game, especially one with a flashy CGI trailer. They're mostly awful, after all, and the series has a pretty terrible track record in the video game department, apart from a couple of exceptions. You can imagine my surprise then in hearing that this isn't some pay-to-win mobile cash grab. This is a PC-based real-time strategy game created by an actual game studio who have made actual games before, and they're even pretty good. Does this mean that Game of Thrones War for Westeros is going to be a slam dunk? No, of course not. I'm fully ready for my hopes and dreams to be poleaxed into oblivion once again, but I'm hopeful. I mean, I'm coping, but hey, there's a chance. It's being developed by an Australian studio called Playside Entertainment. They made the pretty well received RTS Age of Darkness last year, and also an isometric shooter called Kill Knight, which had an even stronger reception. Apparently it's being made on the same engine as Stormgate, which is a good sign, though I'm not entirely sure if that's 100% accurate, and the few screenshots we do have look pretty RTS-like. There even looks like there might be some base building in there, but hey, this could all just be sneaky marketing, of course. I am slightly skeptical about a couple of things. The CGI trailer was admittedly great, but that's all it is, a CGI trailer. There are some short snippets of gameplay, but at this point it's impossible to derive a real game out of this. I'm not sure what to think about the units, looking like they're always in these quite prescriptive formations. It's giving real Realms of Ruin vibes, which I'm not sure is a good thing. But hey, maybe they're just preset formations and aren't locked in. We'll have to wait and see. At least it appears the developers clearly understand what people would want, vibes-wise, from a Game of Thrones game, giving us alternate timeline events that the show could only dream of delivering, and promising players the ability to shape the outcome of iconic battles from the series. I am hoping that this is going to be great, but we'll have to wait a wee while to see fully fledged gameplay, I think. Game of Thrones War for Westeros is targeting a release date sometime in 2026, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear about this one again for another 6 or 12 months, for it then to be released later that year. I've contacted the studio for further information on this one, and I will be sure to let you know if I get any more news about it. Dawn of War Definitive Edition was announced a couple of weeks back as part of a big Warhammer 40k event, alongside some other remasters and new titles set in the grimdark universe of Eternal War. It brings basically what you'd expect from a current year RTS remaster. That's updated graphics, improved hardware support, and an unoffensive feature list that will be hard to mess up, barring any catastrophic technical nightmares or price hikes on launch. One unique thing of interest it does bring though is a new 64-bit platform, which promises to enhance modding support for Dawn of War's catalogue of user-generated content created over the past 20 years. In particular, this should help large-scale projects like Ultimate Apocalypse and Unification from slowing to a crawl when things get hectic, thanks to the inherent hardware limitations when running on a 32-bit platform, of which the original Dawn of War is built on. There's no set date on this one yet, but I'd guess sometime this year, probably Q3 if I was a betting man. I am pretty keen for this one, if only for the fact that it should make playing multiplayer with the lads in the Discord much easier, and that it indicates Relic is open to remastering their older titles, making my dream of a modern Impossible Creatures remake closer than ever before. Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition was announced a while back, but it's launching next month, so it feels appropriate to include it here. Plus I'm just really excited for it. Crusader DE follows in the footsteps of last year's Stronghold DE, in that it's a modern remaster of the game it's based on, coming along with updated visuals, though not to the degree you might be used to based on other RTS remakes for the past couple of years, not that I'm complaining, along with technical improvements, full Steam integration, etc, etc. Stronghold went further than most though, and it even included new content with the release, in this case new campaigns, and it kept swinging after launch with 2 paid DLC packs. Crusader looks to do the same and then some, as it even includes a handful of new units, as well as an entirely new co-op skirmish trail to play with a mate, and new AI characters. Alongside it, there are going to be some much larger maps, the unit support of Crusader Extreme, and more. If I had to guess, it'll probably get its own DLC after launch as well, considering the reception the ones for the original Definitive Edition received. And all in all, this is looking to be quite a solid package that, based on its predecessor, will probably come in at a great price too. I've actually got a pretty big video about Crusader Definitive Edition dropping quite soon, before the game launches, so hit subscribe to get notified when it goes live. I promise you won't want to miss it. Jurassic World Evolution 3 isn't quite an RTS, but it's close enough. And I've actually covered this whole series on this channel before, multiple times. And I imagine I'll do the same with this third entry. It just feels right, and I am still interested in it despite not loving the second game. The original was a classic Frontier game. It looked great and it was very immersive, but it didn't include a lot of content and it played it pretty safe in terms of gameplay. But overall, I still quite liked it for what it was. The sequel, on the other hand, I didn't like so much. It was quite buggy on launch. It included a mind-boggling mechanic where you had to unlock every dinosaur through the campaign, even if you wanted to play them in sandbox, and other things that, to be honest, I don't entirely remember. It was a long time ago, but if you're interested, I detailed it all in my review, which is linked in the description. I'm still hopeful, however, that Jurassic World Evolution 3 is the ultimate incarnation of the dinosaur park management game, complete with lots of content, deep mechanics, and gameplay elements you'd expect to see, considering they were in Dinosaur Digs and Zoo Tycoon like 20 years ago. We do have a date for this one, October 21st, so still a few months to wait, but I'm sure that'll come around very fast. I bet they would have liked to time this with the new Jurassic World movie next month, but hey, close enough, I guess. I'll be reviewing this on launch, as I'm a sucker for dinosaur games of any kind, despite the lack of views that it's certainly going to receive. So subscribe and hey, hit the bell if that's something that you want to see. Heavenly Spear is a new premium DLC announced at the Xbox Showcase for Age of Mythology Retold. It brings a brand new Japanese pantheon to the game, with 12 new gods and a fresh campaign to use them in. It's aiming to drop sometime in the next few months, and based on the fact that it exists at all, it indicates that Microsoft is pretty happy with the success for the game's first DLC, and I guess the entire game itself too. Stuff like this isn't cheap to produce after all. Not a ton of information out for this yet, but based on the trailer, it looks pretty darn nice, and I'm hoping they're going to be pushing the boat out in terms of mechanics and systems too. Not just sticking to the tried and true formula like the first few DLCs did for Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, until they got the confidence to try something more out there. Let me know if you'd like to see a review of this one when it comes out. Earth vs Mars is a new RTS from Relic Labs, a kind of indie-styled sub-brand of Relic Entertainment, which they're using to incubate and produce smaller-scale projects that perhaps are more niche or just smaller scale than their usual big blockbuster strategy games like Company of Heroes. No date yet, just the ever-present soon, but considering how much of the game we have seen and know about at this point, I would guess it's not too far away, probably this year. Maybe after Dawn of War Definitive comes out. Earth vs Mars is a turn-based strategy game that implements some quite interesting looking mechanics, including some that are ripped right from Impossible Creatures. Hell yeah baby, we're so back. The game allows you to merge human volunteers with Earth creatures to fight against the Martian invasion, and it sounds like you'll be able to use Earth creatures with other Earth creatures too, which is literally just Impossible Creatures. So using something called the Splicertron, you're going to be able to make things like a human rhino super soldier hybrid thing. They also described some squirrel cow hybrid infantry, and many more. So that sounds super cool. Though I think the Martians are doing their own thing as well, probably using Earth creatures against you. So hey, I can't wait to see where they go with it. It looks interesting, and I'm glad Relic are trying something new here and experimenting a bit. I'll absolutely give this one a go once we have something playable. And hey, let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing more of it, and if you want me to give it the full review treatment when it hits the proverbial shelves. There are links to all of the games that I've talked about in the description, and if you want to support any of them, then I know a Steam wishlist is always appreciated. Those numbers mean quite a lot, I hear, especially for smaller devs. There are obviously also many other RTSs on the horizon that we didn't mention, so leave any that you're particularly excited about in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to support me and what I do here, then you can do so by hitting subscribe or joining on YouTube memberships or Patreon. You'll join legends like Dakayo, Bad Ghosts, Sean, Grey Spirit 4, George, King Thickenus, Pavel, Bram, Christian, Dan, Orion, Disroofkin, and my paladins Johnny, Marika, Tank, and Empyrean. Thank you so much everyone, really appreciate it. See you all soon. Cheers.